his sister, and it's recording, right?
Yeah, it's recording. Yes.
And we are reading Saturnastra Karina, Lesson 0, Part 2. It was midsummer that Marduke started having second doubts. Karina visited him on his home. He was cradling his newborn Inanna. There was an outsider standing over the baby. They were in the small coffee room with the open window overlooking the gardens. The apartment had 8 stories, which was impressive by medieval standards. Berthame had rediscovered cement, and thus he had been able to make larger structures. His cement was far more stable, with a hidden secret ingredient that was volcanic ash. The coffee table room had a library, an elegant Persian rug, some cushions, and a lovely painting. The true decorations themselves were that of the tea room, but Marduke was more of a coffee drinker. He still served tea for the guests. His coffee he drank with foam and milk. The milk he poured in a way that made silly shapes. The shapes tended to reflect his mood. Most of them, as of lately, were of sad or worried faces. The painting he had on the wall faced the open window. It hung over the warm fireplace. This painting featured a fat couple dancing together. The painting was...
It's a botero. I know what painting that is.
He had a botero.
Right.
The maiden was in the foreground with her back to the viewer. She was wearing a tight red dress with her ankles showing. The guy had a little mustache and a black tux. The background seemed to be a bar or something. The figures were quite simplified. Marduke had brought this painting with him from his old home because it made him smile. He was also into ballroom dancing as well. The painting always garnered a curious look, but nobody ever bothered to ask him about it. The wallpaper was white with pink flowers. The windows had 2 delicate embroidered curtains. Another piece of decor was a miniature on top of the fireplace. It was a replica of the neighborhood, with tiny houses and trees. Marduke still had to add the little people and birds too. It was everything in his house was a work in progress. The home hinted at the domesticity of having a lady in the house. There was a lady visiting, but she was Marduke's sister-in-law, Alisa. She was married to Marduke's adopted brother. Ever since Aragon had gone to hell, Alisa had separated herself from her husband. Along with her own baby, Alisa was Marduke's neighbor. Today's visitor was a familiar face. Marduke spoke sweet nonsense with the landlady. Her name was Isabella. She was a retired courtesan. At the age of 71, she was not seeing much action, nor was she interested in it. She was at a point in her life where she did not tolerate any man or any woman's company for more than a second. As far as concessions went, there were none to be had. In lieu of human companionship, she lived with her Chihuahua Banshee. Like her namesake, Banshee was always barking or weeping. Like a banshee is like a type of monster, a very loud one. Time, bro?
11 minutes.
Little Banshee was protected of her owner, and thanks to her, Isabella had avoided some unsavory companies in the past. If Banshee hated you, then you were in danger. Then you were a danger to her owner. Isabella was not too keen on having the new King of Veragerung renting one of her apartments. She thought it could spell trouble if any assassins stopped by. Berthame had killed quite a number of assassins back during his old reign. Marduke did inspire killers from time to time, but his court of demons always kept them in check. This was why he was known as the Demon King. Those who had any degree of sixth sense, which was common in Saturnastra, could see that many of the humans around him were not what they appeared. While Isabella spoke with Marduke, her dog Banshee would stare at his baby Inanna and whimper. Whimpering was not a bad sign for Banshee. The baby had a sour, gloomy look on her face. From time to time, a tear would fall down his bright eyes. As soon as Isabella left with Banshee, both Marduke and baby Inanna breathed a sigh of relief. Marduke came to his baby and said in an affectionate fashion, "I will speak to their babies." That growled, "Yes, she did, my little piglet." The baby made gentle little cooing sounds in affirmation. Marduke patted Inanna's cheek, which made the baby smile. Inanna settled back down on the crib and then went to sleep for some time. While the baby was asleep, Marduke said to his sister, "Sorry, can I get you a cup of tea?" "It's fine. I'm not here for tea." "I would rather something that bubbles," said Karina, sitting down, crossing her legs. After handling her drink, Marduke said before returning to his cushioned seat, "I have been thinking that the whole sending threatening letters and warning them of being exiled is a bit mean. We want the magic folks to feel at home. If we push them, they might leave for the Tower of Subarus." "Well, we could offer it as a type of supplement class for those who do not want to pay to learn new rules," said Karina. "I suppose the counter could be that they learn the rules in their spare time," said Marduke. "Who really has the time to learn anything new these days?" asked Karina. "The world at least has longer days, which is something to consider," said Marduke. "I was forgetting where we were. Sure. We will put up some pamphlets advertising the free class, and I will send some letters too," said Karina. "As long as we get some students coming in, it is possible that others might follow." "Yes, a firm but light touch," said Marduke. "As you would, with little Banshee," said Karina. For the rest of the summer, Karina placed some pamphlets in key public spots. The pamphlet spoke of a new citizenship exam to test people on the new laws. Those who did not pass the exam lost some of their citizen rights and privileges. The rights that would be lost were not vital, but there were exceptions, like tax exemptions and free access to public libraries, and the right to own a shop, and the right to travel between the hosts without buying a travel permit. Karina wrote down the rights that would be lost, in addition to the information focusing on the free class she was offering. Karina did not send the letters by mail. She went house by house, poured in one of her loveliest outfits. Since she had to abide by the new rules, she could not sport anything that was made before or after the Baroque period. Neoclassical stuff was fine, but it was pushing the boundaries of what was considered decency in Veragerung. She wore a white dress with a white sash. The dress was a little bit loose, but only the sash delineated her form. The cotton was a type of mud cloth. Yeah, it's mud. It's a type of fabric. The elegant golden pattern was around the small V-neck of the dress. It went down from the middle front of her chest, stopping below her knees. The fabric was simple, but it contrasted greatly with all of the jewelry that Karina was sporting. She loved anything jewelry that's fragile, and she was currently wearing a bronze necklace with the Mayan calendar. The earrings were round bezels with two ancient coins depicting the sun. She had a single ring in her index finger. It was made of gold, and the round surface had an Egyptian cartouche. Time?
Yeah, 8 minutes.
She would only sport this ring when she was in a particularly good mood. It was the artifact from her old home world that she had been allowed to bring into Saturnastra. Everything else she replicated by hand using the local technology and methods of the world. The cartoon featured a U with two little hands on top. Below it were 3 horizontal leagues. One of the first homes she visited belonged to Carmeta Lini. She was an exiled elf living in Veragerung. She had provided key data that allowed for Berthame to find her hidden city. In addition to the masked twin, she performed assassinations for Marduke. She loved the new king, but the prospect of living a more peaceful existence was giving her way too much time to think about her many mistakes. Carmeta saw Karina come to her home and leave the letter in her mailbox. She put on heavy clothing and she covered her face to head outdoors. She was not tuned keen on the changes that the sun triggered on her dark elf skin. She read the letter and she raised an eyebrow. In the end, she decided to attend school since it was free for adults. When she went inside, her guest took the letter for her and she read it over the top. She said to her, "Don't even think about it. I'm going," and that's that, said Baby Cell. Baby Cell was a poor little halfling. He had received his schooling from his mother and father. Still, his
Baby Cell?
Bobby Cell.
Oh, Bobby. I understood Baby Cell, like Cell from Dragon Ball Z. I was like, okay.
Bobby Cell.
Bobby Cell. Got it. That's
Bobby.
a weird name.
Whatever. It's just me with a random name generator. Whatever. Type.
4 minutes.
Still, he sometimes pondered on the whole school nonsense. Since he was a cheap bastard like his father, he decided to jump at the opportunity of attending a free class. Even if the subject matter didn't much appeal to him. Other people too eventually answered Karina's summons. Though the reasons varied, they had one thing in common. They had absolutely nothing better to do with their time, and so they wanted a change of pace. None were too concerned about Marduke implemented these measures stipulated in the letter. When Marduke had come to power, after executing a couple of people, he released a prisoner before arresting others. Instead of being in prison, they would do community service till the drastically shortened sentences were concluded. He softened with criminals had given the population the belief that he was a weak king, not to be taken seriously. Still, this underestimation was only common among the citizens that had never seen Marduke fight in the flesh. There was also his royal vices to consider. Kano was respected and feared, and Marduke always yielded to his suggestions and reasoning. In the eyes of the people, Kano was the true ruler of Veragerung. With the army backing him up, Marduke had a strong footing on Veragerung for the time being, even if some of the people living there did not take him seriously. Alright, this is the end of lesson 0. Bye bye and God bless.